Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game between prOpMini and I believe it's Dignitas's merz. But don't quote me on that. The replay was sent to me. It's from the Swedish Masters Cup and I was told that it was Dignitas's merz. So I'm just going to go with it. Probably should have checked it out before I started casting, but this cast has just been such a nightmare. I got about halfway through it once. Well, I say half, it's probably about a third. And then I had a coughing fit. I got, you know when you get something stuck in your throat and you just cannot get it up. So restarted there. Then I went into the second game, and then my doorbell went. So that is always fantastic. So third time lucky, I do hope. So what's going to be going on in this map? Well, as I said, it's from the Swedish Masters Cup, and well, all the information I was given is that it's an awesome map, an awesome matchup, and an awesome game. So we will see here the mini. Well, he's going to scout that it's close by air with this Overlord. Again, that's pretty irrelevant. The rush distance isn't too long. Air could come in. Drops will probably. They may be a part of Merz's game. It depends whether he's a player who likes to drop. Meanwhile, Mini, well, obviously he's going to take this expansion probably at 15, almost certainly, just because it's what Zerg players do. Meanwhile, Merz, well, he's getting this barracks out, and what does that allow him to do? It allows him to build Marines, and Marines are awesome. It also means he can get a reactor to get reactor Hellions out if he does take one of these gases. That's what Mini's scouting here. He's just going to go and check, see when the gas timing is, and there's no gas yet. And that always raises question marks if you don't see a gas. There goes a 15 hatch for Mini. We'll probably see a 16 pull because then you can get both queens simultaneously. Meanwhile, Merz, well, still no gas, and essentially, if I was Mini, I'd be thinking one of two things here. I've scouted this one barracks, I know that's there. So there could be a proxy racks somewhere, which would be a 2-rack kind of pressure play, or it's going to be a command center first build. But this SCV only just now moving out to scout. Obviously, our advantage being observers is that obviously we know there is no second proxy racks, and that is something that Mini does have to be aware of, and because he didn't see those gases actually still aren't down for Merz, so this is almost certainly going to be some kind of command center first build. If it was a double rack, it'd be a bit bad, but here goes down the bunker, and this is a big reaction out of Mini. He's pulling a lot of drones there, just getting this around, and this is all because he didn't see those gas, and he's assuming now, because there is that bunker there, that, well, it must be a 2-racks, and actually pulling most of those drones back, just bringing 3 down, and that's quite surprising, because this Marine is going to have to do quite a bit of damage, and here, this is just so much mining time lost here for Mini, absolutely huge. If we look at the income tab, look at the effect it's having, absolutely massive. Obviously that SCV will get picked off. There goes down a spine crawler, so Mini's still completely assuming this is some kind of 2-racks pressure that's going to be coming in. Those drones did try to chase off Marine, I believe, picked it off, and there's the cancel on the bunker as well. So in Mini's eyes, he's probably a bit confused what's going on. He's got a couple of Zerglings, but that was a huge reaction. Meanwhile, Merz just used this to get his command center up. He's going to take it was a 1-racks command center build, backing up with more barracks, because why wouldn't you? Marines are good. And also getting up those 2 gas. No gas out at all yet for Mini, but that's to be expected. He needs as many drones as possible. Doesn't really need gas too early on to deal with anything. I mean, the longer you delay gas as a Zerg, the better it is for you, because basically it just means you can get more drones and you can get more hatcheries and more queens, which means more production in the mid game. You do need to get that gas somewhere though to start obviously getting lair tech and also speed. That bunker on the low ground is a big tell. That's saying too many. I've got my expansion, I'm going to float it down any second. And obviously now Mini is aware of what's going on. He should switch to dronage, which of course is what he's doing, because lots of drones make you win a Zerg. It's that simple. Now this is one thing the Mini's doing a bit not to my personal preference, is he's using one of the queens to spread the creep tumor, because he's only got 2 queens, 1 per base. I would have liked to have seen another queen. 3 queens is always good, and one of the things you can afford to get if you take these gases later, you can just get another queen dedicated to creep spread, which means you get better map vision, and also you get better, well, scouting information, speed, etc, etc. Third base though coming down for Mini, and that is really what he's choosing to do with those extra minerals, get a really early third, and that is a good response, because ultimately you want to be 1 base up as a Zerg player to either a Terran or Protoss, and because of this bunker, Mini is aware the Merz has gone for this command center after the barracks build. Meanwhile, this Overlord is going to try and suicide it. See these 2 refineries, that's a good tell that everything's going to start clearing up a bit more. We have got an engineering bay. Will Mini scout it? No, I don't think he was in range to scout that at all. So obviously no knowledge of the upgrade, no knowledge of stim either. Double reactor, so this is going to be a really heavy marine play. These evolution chambers being used just to form a nice wall off here. And obviously a third queen has finally been made. The creep spread is alright, but obviously the creep trying to join up to the main. You can come along with the creep tumors here and actually run them simultaneously and then just join them back up here. The third needs to get joined up sort of ASAP. Meanwhile, if we take a look back at Merz's base where he's got that command center up, he's building the supply depot wall off, he's getting those reactors up, getting the +1 infantry weapons. Meanwhile, Mini, he's getting that speed for Zerglings. His third base just finishing up right now and still no gas. And to be honest, oh no, he has got gas. What am I on about? There's no gas in the main. 2 gas at the natural base. That was a bit of a slip there. Pay attention there. God. Anyway, a factory coming out here for Merz, so we should see some tank play. A lot of marines being pumped out. Obviously, with stim marines are fantastic. With +1, they're even better. There is the +1 carapace upgrade coming out. The reason Mini's getting that carapace upgrade first is because if there were tanks out, it means that if you are 1 armor upgrade ahead, Zerglings and Banelings take 2 hits rather than 1 from siege tanks, which is awesome. And obviously something you should always strive to do. So here we will see a couple of SCV kills may be able to go down, but those marines coming out the bunker and will pick it off. So no big loss there, but 2 SCV kills, which is better than nothing. 2 SCVs for 2 Zerglings is a very nice little trade-off. There goes the +1 melee attack as well, so double upgrades on the way for Mini there. And he's also getting his lair up at his natural base. Now, a reason you see some Zerg players take this is because it's slightly safer to drops. That's pretty much the only reason, and also that essentially if you lose an natural base, you're probably going to lose the game anyway. That's essentially why. Here comes some Zerglings out. There is a lot of marines coming out here though for Merz, and this is going to be quite hard for Mini to deal with, but if you can force enough stims, he will be absolutely fine, because currently there is no medevacs, and that factory actually being used to build a reactor to switch with the starports, so we're not going to be seeing tanks for quite a long time now. That's quite surprising. And a couple of overlords are going to be able to get taken out for free. There goes the stim forward, using those evolution chambers just to cover the marines, prevent the Zerglings getting us around. And will there be any evolution chamber go down? Well, maybe. If it does, that would be a big win for Merz, to deny those upgrades for quite a considerable amount of time. But just look how many Zerglings Mini has, and he will clean that up. And I mean, if we take a look at the loss tab, it's pretty even, and no significant tech damage was done there at all by Merz, and really that attack was pretty lackluster. But here we go, command center coming down, so the third base coming out for Merz, which means that pretty much straight on cue, here comes Mini with his own 4th base. A good timing. 4th base at the 10-minute mark, or 11-minute mark really, closer to, is a great time to get that out if you can. He's just crushed a big push there from Merz, so he knows he can afford to. Here comes a Baneling Nest and Infestation Pit, so obviously by seeing such a heavy marine play, he knows that's probably what's going to be followed up, because Terran players never stop making marines. And as a result, Banelings and Infestors are pretty much the best way to counter marines. On their own, they're good against marines. Both of them are fantastic, and now this factory will get good scouting information from us, but it also gives a lot of information to Mini. The fact that this factory is coming in says I am not making siege tanks. Or not that I'm not making them, it just says I am not actively making them, or anything like that. It makes it much more likely that drops coming in, and that is exactly what's going to be happening here. And now a double drop coming in is actually quite scary. Good overlord placement, but quite a few will get picked off. Those marines just moving backwards, trying to do maximum damage, and are reloaded up. The queens won't be able to pick off either of those drop ships, so not really too bad of an engagement, and actually leveled it up bang on even. A macro hatch coming out there for Mini. Also the 4th base pretty much done. We have got that 3rd command center for Merz up. He's also getting his 4th gas finally. Mini obviously running on 6 gases, I believe. That macro hatch is finished. Pathogen glands is on the way. The Baneling speed is on the way. And here comes out a lot of marines with the medevacs. Well, with the medevacs there, the Zerglings on their own won't be able to take it out. So some Banelings will be needed, but there's 9 being morphed in somewhere up on the high ground there. But meanwhile, we've got Zergling counterattack with some Banelings in there, so that can do a lot of damage. Now, really, it all comes down to how well can Merz micro against those Banelings. With a big bomb, we've got huge Baneling hits go off, and look at the amount of damage done. And Mini cleans that up pretty damn nicely. Some big fungal growth goes down, and another huge fungal growth. Those Zerglings are coming in. There are still this counterattack sitting there waiting but actually all of Mini's attention is down here because he still hasn't quite cleaned up. He's getting 32 more Zerglings, but he wants to be careful not to lose any infestors before this, and here comes all those Zerglings streaming, and the evolution chambers have been picked off, and that is quite annoying because 2-2 wasn't finished. I don't know if it was actually thinking about it, was it started? I'm doubting myself now. But that's irrespective. Meanwhile, we've got big counter-attack coming in down here for Mini, and there were some big hits coming off. But it does look like merz is just going to keep piling on the pressure, and there's no reason not to, but actually this is a reason not to. That many banelings is going to be a problem, and holy marine train. Well, that's what you get when you get that many barracks and with reactors, and here comes in everything. Some of those medevacs trying to be picked off, because obviously with so many marines and so many medevacs, Zerglings won't be able to deal with this, and the ill comes down to how well can he split. Well, merz is not splitting too well at all, but he's still got enough to keep going. There's some huge baning hits, but frankly, it just seems like merz has too many marines. And I heard people say the marines are good units. This is proof they are 1-1 marines. 2-2 is on the way as well there for merz, and he's just constantly reinforcing, but these Zerglings are picking off the reinforcements one at a time, which is exactly what he needs to do. But merz does have to be careful, because if a big fungal growth goes off or any big baning hits, there'll be a problem. There goes one fungal growth, more infestors coming in, some more big fungal growths, and look at those infested Terrans. Well, Mini is clearly having none of this, and that is just going to get taken out so quickly. Possibly a slight overreaction there, but the factory's going to go down as well. And, I mean, those infested Terrans aren't going to be up for long. And just look at the reinforcement chain coming in. There is just so many reinforcements. And, I mean, essentially this third base is up happily. That fourth base for Mini hasn't actually got any use yet. And, I mean, he needs to get that in ASAP. But just look at the marine pressure, and well, essentially, Mini is doing the absolute perfect response. Infestor Baneling is really good against Marines. Really, really good. But do you know what beats Infestor Baneling? Just more Marines. If you have more Marines that can reasonably be dealt with, then you have issues. And obviously when these 2-2 upgrades finish, these Marines are starting to become extremely difficult to deal with. The medevac numbers getting really high as well. There's some big Baneling hits go off, but good splitting in general there from merz, but a couple of big hits should be able to nearly clean this up, but somehow merz is just maintaining this push almost constantly, and it's purely because of this medevac number. 8 medevacs are out, and essentially that's all you need, but there's a lot of infestors there. He's just moving forward. The Zergling numbers are obviously just re-bolstering after every push, but just look at how much helium's coming out of those medevacs. It's absolutely brilliant, and allowing merz to just keep this pressure on. And this constant string of reinforcements is causing major problems for Mini. But Mini's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's just biding his time. He needs to be careful of big fungal growth there. Doesn't want to suicide those infestors in. The Zergling's doing massive, massive damage. And obviously the infestors, there's a huge fungal growth on those medevacs. And if he chains fungals all of those medevacs down, that is essentially going to stop this push dead. But doesn't quite get them all. Some massive baning hits go off though. He wants to be careful though, using one baning for one marine, that's not cost effective at all. And because that fourth base is only just really getting up and running now, he can't afford to be too cost ineffective. But it does look that at long last, Mini has managed to hold that off, at least for now. But 2-2 is finished for merz's infantry, +3 infantry weapons on the way. Will we see +3 infantry armor? Maybe. Hive is being morphed in. We've got the +2 melee attack coming in now. No +2 armor though. So really the upgrade advantage going to be heavily in merz's favour anytime soon. And a fifth base behind all this has been got up by Mini, and obviously his fourth base is just dying. He's getting the gas as well, so that's getting up and running. His main base is getting very low on minerals, but of course merz, he's completely mined out. His natural base not looking too healthy either. He has got this third, needs to start looking at taking a fourth sometime soon. And well, Marines are good units I hear, so build more barracks to build more Marines. And this drop isn't going to get scouted at all, and this fifth base will get sniped out. There is pretty much no way that Mini can deal with this. He could bring that infest up and get a good fungal growth off, but regardless of that, that base will go down. There goes the great fungal growth, but obviously can't chain fungal. The fifth base goes down, and all in all, I'd say that was a good engagement there for merz. He did lose quite a bit, but he killed a base off, and that is exactly what he's doing. Meanwhile, he's getting a multi-prong attack coming on here, and a lot of the army have been pulled back, but Mini wisely not going in with everything. He's got counter-attack ready and waiting down there as well. So really, what can merz do? If he gets the hive, that would be a major win, but has just found a lot of overlords, and just look at this red train of units. But here comes the infestors, big fungal growths going off everywhere, and really not much target fire. I mean, a lot of overlords were picked off, but Mini has plenty in excess, and yet again, Mini favouring just excessive amounts of infested Terrans to deal with all of these medevacs and also all of the Marines. So it would appear that Mini has cleaned up that attack quite happily. Obviously, the Marines just running away now because, well, if you don't have enough, then run away. It's a good move. Behind all of this kind of craziness, though, we did have Mini getting a big counterattack. And how many SCVs has Mini killed? Well, he's killed 42, and this is carrying on as well. I wish I could have had the camera in 2 places at once, but oh no, big baiting hits, they're going to be huge. How many SCVs can go down? And no, the baitings aren't actually detonating. These are the world's dumbest baitings, but there we go. A massive hit goes off there. 56 workers killed so far by Mini. And this game is actually pretty crazy. That drop was cleaned up as well. What else have we got going on everywhere? We've got one Zergling sitting down here. We've got a lot of infestors, a lot of banelings up at the top. 3-3 is nearly finished up there for merz. Plus 3 melee attack, only just starting now for Mini. He hasn't got the +2 carapace either. So obviously those 3-3 Marines are going to be crazy good. But obviously with the medevacs as well, it just means they're going to last pretty much forever. But the one problem for merz is he's lost a lot of SCVs, an awful lot of SCVs from that counter-attack, which unfortunately I couldn't get the camera to in time. And because he's lost so much there, well, he's got a bit of a worker problem because, well, 26 to 59, that is never ever a position you want to be in, and no matter how good mules are, they are not that good. But really all that is needed now for merz to keep going is he needs to get some very, very cost-effective engagements. But frankly, well, that is a lot of banelings, and if you've got a lot of Marines, you don't want to see a lot of banelings. I mean, if we actually take a look, there's 28 more on the way. So yeah, it's nearly 1 baneling to every Marine. So even with the best possible splitting imaginable, Mini is going to win this fight. To be honest, merz would have to do something insane to be able to survive this, but it looks like Mini's just going to go straight for that natural base, wants to take it off. Some big baneling hits do go down. Here comes all the Marines, they're clumping up so badly, huge fungal quotes, and that is pretty much GG there. And that was a lovely play by Properties Mini. And that is pretty much over, and there's the GG from merz. So I hope you did enjoy that game. I do apologise for missing the counter attack by Mini, which completely destroyed merz's economy, but yeah, I will agree that was a fantastic game. Thank you very much for sending it in. If you did enjoy, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube, and obviously follow me on Twitter. Thank you very, very much for watching, and tune in again. Bye for now.